how skinny I look.
You look skinny. You're in a white shirt and you have a blur all around you from the sunlight.
I think it looks skinny. Today's day, Karen, introduce the scene.
How about you pay attention to the cars?
I got it. Introduce the scene.
I got you. Today is July 19th, 2018. This is Project My Life. And the camera's falling.
Where are we going?
We're going back to Cali. What? Sacramento. We're going to Sacramento to go judge the Muscle Mayhem 20th year anniversary pro amateur show. Bob and Tina Bell / Smith. Because it's like Bob Bell, Tina Smith. But they're like one unit.
Do they have a common last name? Or do they?
I don't know. It always comes up as Bob Bell and Tina Smith.
Right. We gotta ask them that. They do want to do a podcast, but we'll ask them that.
Yeah, man. So we're on our way to Newark Airport to catch our flight. Some crazy traffic as always.
It's okay though. The camera's gonna keep Karen. If we record Karen, she won't be angry. She doesn't want to be angry in front of you guys watching this. But if the camera wasn't rolling, she'd be miserable.
I hate traffic.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't like being in the car, and honestly, it hurts to be sitting.
Yeah.
So I really don't like being in the car. It hurts my hip.
Which leads us. Which made me want to turn the camera on, Karen. Well, how was your progress from your hip? I actually got to post that video of the PRP. But how's your hip?
It's okay. It's interesting. Interesting.
What does that mean?
It's not as I'm not as in much pain as I was like 2 days ago, because post procedure. What are you doing? What's that?
Picture.
Oh. Post procedure, it was more swollen and achy, just from I guess the jabbing of, the needle and the PRP going in and all that kind of stuff. And then it started to get really painful come Sunday or Monday. I started getting a lot of pain, like sharp pains going through my hip flexor and my actual joint. But they said that's what's expected. So I gotta roll with it. I can't do full extension yet. So I'm still walking with a little bit of a hobble. I could walk, but it's when I go full extension and try to kick off that leg to make my next step. That's where the pain is. And sitting is really, really uncomfortable. Like I'm getting sharp pains and tingling in my hip flexor area.
Well, it's good you're getting taken care of.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
It's good you're on the recovery side.
Yeah.
Good. Like anything else, it takes time, right?
Mm-hmm.
They actually, PRP is making your body feel like it injured it, like you have an injury, so it could protect it.
Yeah,
So,
well, they say they kind of re-injure it almost.
Right. So then my bicep tear today is just because
It's fucking crazy.
it happened because my body wants to repair it. My body wants to get healthy on that side. Now, I do think that it's crazy the way to look at it, I feel like, and let me know if you can get down with this way of thinking, that I did something to my left shoulder. Do you remember that? We were doing heavy weighted pull-ups remember I was really sick 2007?
You almost died.
Yeah, I don't know, I think I had pneumonia.
Actually. Yeah, you did. You had walking pneumonia, and it started with a tooth.
Started with a tooth. I got a tooth pulled, and all the infection must have been gunked up in there.
Yeah.
And I was really, not in
Green
good
like
shape.
this color straw.
Yeah.
And gray.
And I didn't want to take any
Antibiotics?
Antibiotics.
You were taking silver water, supplements, sleep, chiropractic, everything but antibiotics. And by the time you took an antibiotic, it was too late at that point.
Well, it wasn't too late. It helped, but it was like
It didn't really do much.
6-7 weeks in.
Yeah.
No, was it that long? No.
Dude, you were sick for like
It wasn't 9 weeks.
12 weeks.
No.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Was it really that long?
And it was for your 30th birthday too, right?
I had just gotten better.
You
before.
You were like 170 pounds because you couldn't eat, train, nothing.
Not 30th, because we turned 30 and we were already in the city. Well, you're right. It was 30. Was it? No.
Like, how old are you in 2007? 30 years old. You were born in 1977.
We didn't move up to New York until 2008.
Yeah.
2007, I was still home. Because I remember coughing in the middle of the night and my mom coming down the stairs yelling at me saying, "That's fucking it, man. You got to go to the hospital." Because I was literally, every time I laid down, I was, I had a chest mucusy kind of cough.
It was definitely walking pneumonia.
But anyway, that Christmas you bought me a belt that I can hang weight off of.
Yes.
So I had just gotten better, and I was eager to get back into the gym. And of course, I probably went, like 3 weeks in, I probably started doing weighted pull-ups. And I did something to my left shoulder, and never got it fixed or never looked at it. I just took time off and kind of just let it heal and did whatever I knew. Dr. Jeremy Dykeman, we did some rotator cuff stuff, but I never really got like a prescribed rehab program or surgery. Never would think about it. And then in 2009, I pulled my left groin doing heavy.
Or like ruptured it?
It was a pretty serious rupture.
We heard it pop.
Heard it pop. I never went to...
You never did anything then either.
I never got an MRI, anything. I went immediately to a chiropractor that we were going to at the time in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I don't know how much weight, who cares how much weight it was, but it was extremely heavy and weight that I could have handled, but at that time, that particular rep, my body said, "Fuck you." My hip said, "No, not today. Slow it down there, Turbo." So
yeah. I think you were depleted.
Well,
you were in contest prep.
I came off of 2008,
mm-hmm.
right? I won my pro card, and I wanted to come back 2009, and I wanted to already get on stage as a pro because I was so anxious, because I was very excited because it took me, 42 years to turn pro. No, not just kidding. It only took 12, but But I finally I wanted to be on stage and I wanted to compete. That was a big year. You and I got engaged. We went away. I had probably a huge rebound, 20, 30 pounds after the 2008 win, because I was celebrating, because I want, whatever it was. The undisciplined off season out of 2008, gained a lot of weight, wanted to compete again in what's Nancy's first show of the year? March. Was it April or May?
No, it's June.
June. So I started probably January, February. No, we were in Italy in 2009 in February, Valentine's Day.
And we came back and both of us started contest prep the day we came. Well, you started the day we came back. I started a couple days later.
But you got sick. You discovered you had gluten, and we didn't know it. But you got really sick when you cleaned up your diet, and that was an interesting phase. And then we both wanted to compete, so we cleaned up our diet. And we did the 2000 and Nancy show, and then we went to Barbados.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to take off. I didn't want to not compete. I didn't want to stop my training. So I went in and just took some time off and did light legs and did like step mill and this and that and the other thing. But never really
gave
it rest. Never got an MRI. Never did any kind of rehab. That's my left hip. And then I had PRP in my shoulder in 2016, and towards the end of it, I started doing some rehab for my elbow, but I let it go and it didn't follow up. And then this year, the idea of getting back on stage, I wanted to get my elbow fixed. I went back to performance and got PRP. And I'll tell you what, my left fucking elbow, I was showing Rich last night about at the point where it would normally hurt, and I was like, oh shit, it feels fucking great. And then, this morning is when I, was trying to do I guess it's called a reverse lever or lever or whatever, and I did it on Monday just messing around. For whatever reason, I was just hopped up. It was at the end of the day. I was fucking fired up from teaching all day, and I was like, I just jumped up there and pulled myself up, pulled my legs through, pulled them back, and I stood there for a second like, holy fuck, I can do this? A, range of motion. B, strength. I was like, awesome. Came back down. I was like, fuck. Really proud of myself. And I was like, the only thing that sucked is that I didn't fucking record it. I'm like, next time I do it, I'm going to record it. Well, today, I was just, whatever reason, I was fired up. Jumped up there, did the same exact thing. But it was 6:30 in the morning. And
no sleep at all last night.
Well, there's some components. My body's a little beat up. I've been, lack of sleep and, depleting a little bit and trying to get, tap into some body fat. Up my training recently, working on my elbow. And then it sounded like you and I jumped onto a box of Rice Krispie treats. Or Rice Krispies, not the treats. Treats would be a little bit softer. This was like, it was just
bubble
like
paper.
4 or 5, like, right. It was like 4 or 5. I was like, whoa!
Ah!
And then I came back, I brought my legs back around. And I stood there and I was like, fuck! And I started laughing. I was like, because it didn't hurt. Remember like in 2009, my groin? Immediately, I was like, it doesn't hurt. I'm fine. You were asking me, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
But you turned like white and almost passed out.
Like 17.3 seconds later, I was like, whoa! Like dizzy, nauseous, lightheaded. Like there's some serious trauma going on right now. But that was that. So today I jumped down. I was like waiting for that. I'm like, no, I'm good. And they're like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, look at my arm, and it started to like it was over. And I picked my hand up, and you can see it was like it was down. Like there's a big gap there. And normally,
at the distance between. Normally, I can't get my hand in between your bicep.
Normally, there's like a one finger. I have a really low insertion point down there, not high. So, anyway, long story short, it was something was wrong. But I'm looking at it like I get it. I can't do anything about it now. I'm probably going to have to go for my first ever surgery on a muscle or tendon, whatever's going on. I don't even know what the fuck's going on, but I'm going to have to get something because Dr. Anthony said that you don't. I said, is surgery the only option? I don't like surgery. Obviously, I like to exhaust all options. He's like, no, it's not the only option, but you either have a Popeye arm and bicep, or your bicep's up in your armpit, and your peak is like way up here, like Phil, my brother. Or you get and it's significantly weaker than the other side, which is going to make
everything else channel too.
Right, it's going to make everything kind of uneven, and I'm all about symmetry, not only aesthetically, but
from a functional standpoint.
Strength, functional. So, yeah, so I'm probably going to have to go for surgery. Now, what I'm thinking is, my left side has been jacked up. So, my right, I always feel like I need to stretch, and I need to I feel like my right is just working harder. I feel like my muscles on my right side of my body are just a little bit denser, and they're just a little bit tighter and a little bit stronger. With coming down from my grip strength to a straight leg or a reverse lunge. I just feel like that I have more of a power on my right. So it's been compensating all this fucking time, probably, and that's
totally.
It's only going to take. It's only.
It's like a rubber band.
It's only natural that something's going to give, So from compensating on the other side, this side is like, no, fuck you. Give me, the left's like, all right, time for me to catch up. So it kind of goes back and forth, which is wild. And I think it's good for people to hear this because everybody's like, oh, you're so strong. But, and we say about everybody, and that's, you look at somebody like, damn, like, how the fuck? Like he looks like such a strong person or an athlete that gets hurt doing something that's like a normal common thing for him.
Yeah, but strength has nothing to do with injury.
It does not. But it does in a way. Tell me how it doesn't.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter how strong you are. We're always putting our bodies under duress. We're always pushing our bodies to the limit. I mean, just because you're strong doesn't mean you're invincible to injury.
Well, right.
So that's where I don't think it matters. I mean, the strongest person in the entire world probably has had many, many injuries leading up to being the strongest person in the world.
And you never know is my point, I guess. But you never know, when it's going to happen. And I think that fear is what limits people because they're like, oh, I don't want to get hurt. Or, I don't want to do nothing because you don't want to get to that point because you never fucking know when it's going to happen,
But if your muscles are weaker, you have a more chance of
looking at it like
getting hurt.
Right, exactly. Analyzing it afterwards is like, well, let's look at it.
Yeah.
My right shoulder in 2018 showed that I was overusing it, probably because I was compensating for maybe my left elbow or whatever. I was just stronger in that side. And then my left elbow started getting a little bit, jacked. And it just goes back and forth, and you can never really, know what's going to happen next. So, therefore, I trust that shit. And the universe says...
Oh, yeah, wait.
No, dude.
Wait, I gotta cut into this one real quick. What are you doing? Did it work? How do you know? Yeah.
I think so.
We might have taken 25 pictures there. Who knows? But let's be honest. Last week we podcasted, and you said you had to make a decision by this past Saturday.
Because of why? It was like
which was the 14th.
12 weeks.
Because it was 12 weeks out from the U.S. Cup in Connecticut. So you gave yourself a deadline. Saturday night, I asked you at midnight, and you're like, I don't think so, but I'm not sure. Sunday, you're like, I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm like, like you want to get lean, but you're not really committed 100% to the idea of being on stage. So we were like, all right, you're not competing. Then last night, we're with Rich, we're with TJ, we're with that dude Ron we just met, and you're like, I kind of still want to do it. There's a part of me that wants to compete still. And I said to you, you just said last week that you're not doing it. And you're like, yeah, but I kind of want to still, there's something in me that wants to do it. And Rich even said to you last night, kudos to you, Rich Kroll, he's like, dude, you're not ready to do it mentally because you're teetering, and either you're in or you're out mentally, and you weren't really convinced about competing. So this morning, the universe said, guess what? You're not doing it.
And normally, I am pretty intuitive. I just felt like maybe I could just get, in shape, because I really crave that being in shape.
But you can still get in the shape.
I could still get in shape, and plus it gives my rest of my body the ability and the opportunity to catch up to my biceps, because if there's any body part that I could be not working out, it could be my right one, because probably my right one is way stronger and bigger than my left. So if there's one, but that screws up a couple things. Like shoulder head, pull and push. Like it's not just bicep.
You're going to be out of it for a little bit of time with a lot of things. But if you really think about our past 7 months with our lifestyle recently, between everything we're doing, we're back in the business, like head deep in the business. Hustle You're not mania. Sleeping. Yeah, Hustle Mania 2018, hashtag that shit. You are not sleeping properly or enough, or sometimes at all. Like last night you had like 2.5, 3 hours of sleep. Unfortunate circumstances that you can't avoid, but you're not sleeping regularly. You are coming off of a crazy 2016 season still, and I say you're still coming off it because it's only been 2 years, but leading up to that you had injury that you were trying to get through. You went through shoulder PRP 2 years ago. You're going through your elbow PRP. So physically, you're not really in tip-top shape either. Sleeping, you're not. The mental exhaustion of the business, the constant go, and your diet. Not that it's bad, but maybe you're just not eating the right things all the time because you're constantly trying.
You made me a meal plan.
Yeah, but you don't follow that 100%. Yeah. And maybe because, I created a meal plan for you to help you lose weight because your intention was to compete. Yeah. But maybe that's not what your body needs. Your body's obviously sick, right? In a way, it's not 100%. So why are we trying to cut weight constantly and deplete?
Sick.
And I say sick, like not like oh, you're diseased or anything, but it's not functioning at 100%. So why are we also trying to deplete it instead of trying to build it and give it the proper nutrients? Like your fat intake should probably be way higher.
Yeah. I agree with you. You think I should bulk?
No, I don't think you should bulk.
You think I should do a keto?
No, I don't think you should do a keto.
I think I should do...
I think you should just eat normal, balanced meals all day long. I think you should get more fruits into your diet.
Well, now
I
that
think
I'm not
you need
working
more
out.
vegetables in your diet. I think that you need more fat in your diet and not just peanut butter. So there's a lot of themes in this, but I don't think you should just be eating peanut butter. I think you need oils.
I have beef. I have salmon.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, but your only other fat source is peanut butter. Right? No coconut oil, no olive oil, no hemp seeds, no chia seeds. Like there's a lot of other fats I think that you can really benefit from.
So what would you put my fats at?
I don't know right now.
Okay.
Maybe like close to 100 grams.
Would you even calculate? I should calculate, because here's the thing, I do want to lose weight. I'm not happy being 205. I want to be 195, but I really do think a lot of it's sleep.
I think 90% of it is sleep, because your diet, really, you are not eating enough to gain weight. You're eating 1,800 to 1,900 calories with all the muscle you have in your body. Come on. That's crazy. Do I think you should track? I mean, loosely maybe, but I wouldn't. At this moment right now, with all that's going on, I wouldn't obsess yourself with tracking, because when you specifically you, and a lot of people too, but some people not so much, when you start tracking, you obsess to the point where you don't eat enough vegetables because you're weighing them so much. It's like, nope, I can only eat 3 ounces. I can only eat 4 ounces, when maybe you need like 5, 6, 7, 8 ounces of good greens in a meal. Or...
Any help, any advice for the gray area? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't weigh my vegetables, and that's one of the things that I wasn't doing. That's one of the things that I don't want to be. It's like 90% I want to be shredded, and I want to be 195. And if I can be 190 to 195, I would look and feel my best.
I think if you just start sleeping, you're gonna start losing weight.
I agree. Excuse me, but that last 10% is what. So it's like 90%. I consider it 90% all in. 10% is like, I don't want to weigh my vegetables. Like, I want to have a big ass salad with a little bit of dressing, and I don't have to weigh it. I want to grab a banana and not have to worry about it's 2.5 ounces of banana, and a real banana is 4.3, and I can't factor it in.
Exactly.
I don't want to have to weigh a banana or a piece of fruit. So, what's the gray area? Grab a piece of fruit and just leave it at that, and whatever size it is, what it is?
Yeah. Why not right now? I mean, is that extra ounce going to make you
I'll be
fat?
honest with you. When Nick and I were, back in the day, we were teamed up closely. One apple.
Didn't matter the size.
One fucking apple. I don't remember the carbs. It was like 20 carbs or some shit like that. We were calculating that. I'm sure it was way more than that.
Not necessarily. An apple, like a 4-ounce apple, is only like, what is it? Like maybe 15 to 19 carbs. Like,
all right, so maybe it was close.
Yeah.
But it wasn't precise. Like now, if I looked at my macros and looked at my meal chart, I needed 4.3 ounces of fucking apple, and if the apple was 4.1, then I was.
Did somebody just hit something, or is that just the backfire of a truck?
Backfire?
Well, whatever.
Come on.
What is it called? Didn't you hear that big bang?
Truck?
Yeah, like this guy.
Yeah, look at the brakes. Slam up.
I don't know where the brakes are.
Not the brake.
Look at the brakes. I don't even know where they are.
I don't know what the fuck they are either. I'm just saying, I'm calling them brakes. I don't know what the fuck they are. The thing underneath.
Anyway, that was a loud bang.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Like, I look at people like Rich Kroll and Miles Stovall and Clarence McGill and Nigeri McGill and all these people who don't track at all, and they still look phenomenal because they intuitively eat. I think where you and I go wrong is we're always hungry and like we're like, no, we want to eat, but we don't really need it, maybe. But I think if you maybe dialed in a little bit more with really assessing what you need,
I think it's so fun.
And just letting it go a little bit.
So easy. Is that Legos on there?
Legos? What are you talking about?
On the step, on the outside of the thing. I think it's so easy to overeat if you're not calculating. That's maybe where I went wrong. It's so hard. I think it's so important to count and weigh personally most of your food. Do you agree with that or no? Is it like a little bit obsessive? Especially in the beginning? Like, think of a newbie. Like, how do you know if we don't know?
But we do know. That's the thing. You do know. You just need that tracking as your safety, as your permission, as your authorization to say, no, you're right. But you know how much you should be eating. You know what your portion sizes are. I guarantee you that if you were to like put some beef on a plate and you say, my goal is to eat 6 ounces, you would be within like 1/10 of an ounce.
Think so?
Yeah, I do. I think you know your portion sizes. I think, and you just use the tracking as your like, no, this is my foolproof. It's my safety net. Now, a newbie absolutely should be tracking everything and should be weighing everything because they don't know portion sizes. I mean, you've been doing this since you were 17 years old, dude. You know your portion sizes. You know what you got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody who's never weighed food doesn't know portion sizes? No, absolutely not. They need to learn that. They need to like really sit there and measure everything so that way one day they don't have to measure everything obsessively all the time.
So in the beginning you say you should.
Yeah.
And you're learning.
Yeah. And if you really want to tighten your shit up, I mean, it's okay to track your stuff for like a day or two, figure out where you are, and then just really try to intuitively eat. You don't have to eat every 2 hours. That's crazy.
No,
You're never breaking anything down.
I go 4 to 5 sometimes 6.
It depends. Yeah, but I think you can do it. I don't think you give yourself enough credit.
Well, just OCD for calculating for so long, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
But think about this too, like the past year, I mean, up until more recently, you haven't tracked and you've kept the same weight.
Yeah, and now that I am tracking, I'm still not fucking losing weight.
Well, that I think is really sleep. I do. But if you think about it, like you were able to maintain your weight intuitively eating, right?
Yeah.
So if you're maintaining your weight with what you're eating, then cut back one thing and you'll probably start losing a little bit, right?
Yeah, I don't need that much. I mean,
maybe that's the problem.
All right,
too.
well, let's get to you. Now you're also injured. Are you cutting back?
Oh, no, I'm not. Obviously.
Yeah, but you weighed less today.
No, I didn't. I have been 110 for the past 2 years. I'll fluctuate from 111 to 108. That is really, and the 108 is only on the best days ever where maybe I've slept for like 10 hours and, I ran 10 miles. Like, my weight has always been 109, 110, 111. Even in high school, if I wasn't in my running season, I was 112, 114, somewhere in there. I've always been this weight. I find that I do want to tighten up a little bit, but I also don't want to, I'm not really changing my dietary habits to do that. But I'm also lately being able to lift a lot more because I'm not so restrictive.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
I'm very cautious.
You want to get into the whole thing?
What whole thing?
About you? What you're going through?
Oh, I'm going through so much shit.
What you're about to do?
I need like 25,000 podcasts for
what
this
you're about
one.
to do?
Is this like a new podcast?
I can make it a new podcast. We'll just do this. Put your number 2 up.
Take 2. Peace.
Do it again. I think it took it. All right.
Well, you might have a lot of pictures and low battery.
So,
there's definitely an accident because there was 2 helicopters. See them floating around up there? No, there's just one, but there was another one over here.
So we were talking about injuries and
life circumstances
and all these things that are going on. And how do you adjust? How do you always maintain a positive attitude? And I always, no matter what, instantly I promised myself I would never have regrets. And what I mean by that is I don't want to ever have, it's like a wasted emotion to have regrets. So
but it's an easy one to have. It's a harder one to not have.
It's easier to be negative than it is to be positive because the natural thing to do is to think maybe it's not natural for me, but maybe it's easier just to be like poor me and not look at something in a positive light. But anyway, that's a whole different topic. But it is interesting that we were just talking about injuries and we're talking about how to eat after an injury, or how to compensate your food when looking to lose weight, and more importantly, I think how to maintain, if not lose, weight when faced with an injury that prevents you from doing an activity that you really enjoy. And whether it is like I can't maybe for a while do upper body movements, like because I'm not going to do my right side. I'm just not going to do it. I can do legs, sure, with, I can't do deadlifts, but I can do squats and I can do leg extensions, and I'm sure 1,000 things I can do, but the point of this is I can't do a lot of things that I'm normally used to, so I have to adapt and change it.
Yeah, and I think your food does have to change.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think you could eat the same exact thing, but I don't think you have to cut back too much because it's so sticky. It's such a sticky topic.
Why, though?
Because
just cut back.
Cut back because you're obviously not expending the same amount of calories as you would, but you do need nutrients in order to heal. So this is where I think when you're injured, you really need to up your vegetables, you need to up your fats, you need to up your even fruit consumption to a degree.
Safe to say you can be a little bit higher in the fat
maybe lower
storage.
Carb.
body fat percentage when you're going through something like that, or no? You don't want shitty fat on your body either. You want
No,
to
you don't. But
want to be running efficiently, right? What's a good body fat percentage?
For a guy or a girl, what
For
age,
both. For
it's all dependent. I mean,
no, for somebody who's looking to just be healthy.
For a female, anywhere from 18 to 24%.
Okay.
Really, I would think.
For a guy?
For a guy, probably anywhere from 8 to 12%. It's a very big difference between female hormones, male hormones, and what is healthy to still produce hormone. Now, obviously, if you're competing, you need to be lower than that. But I think a guy can safely hold like that 8 to 12%.
Yeah, sipping
Okay.
your tea. I drank all mine.
It's okay. But I think a female, depending on where she is in her life, what stage she's in, 14% is considered very athletic. Anything below 14%, you start to really tap a little too low, and you can have a lot of hormonal imbalances from it. 24% to me personally is still a little too high, but it's more acceptable for a female to be there because of the amount of hormones that...
Why is it too high?
I just think it's a little too high, 24%. Again, but that's more of my own take because I'm more in that athletic kind of...
mindset.
Yeah.
And I think that personally think people would feel better and have more confidence if they had less body fat. And
course.
we always tell them that, well, you can probably lose a couple more, and we're honest with them. They're like, whoa, I'm going to look too skinny.
Not if you're eating right.
Not
and not
really.
if
If you're weight training, you're going to look really fucking awesome. You're not going to look too skinny because you're eating healthy and you're working out and you have more muscle and you have less body fat. So that's a whole different... I mean, there's a lot of things that we're talking about right now. But
oh my God, our podcasts are so confusing and they're not really
so you're
targeted.
not...
I'm just going to plug this in because you have a low battery. Let's see if this works, guys. Oh, snap. It's all right. I'm not touching it because it's going to fall down.
So we're talking about a few things. I'll have to edit up and I'll make a couple different things with this, but let's do another podcast. Let's do 3. Number 3.
Yikes.
I'm not sure how much I got.
Whatever, you can watch this.
So we were talking about...
Should we introduce the scene every time we do this
We
then?
should. Yeah. So let me practice. Because I had to get, for the podcast intro, you told me I had to get better at it.
No, I think you should pre-record your podcast intro to a degree.
Well, you have to introduce the person coming up.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Project My Life, Anthony Minetti here. Today is a wonderful day in Jersey, and I'm about to dive into a nice conversation with Karen as we talk about a recent topic that is, I'll consider it like another piece to the puzzle, or a potential piece to the puzzle. And what I mean by that is, in 2009, we discovered that Karen was sensitive to gluten.
Like, sickly.
Yeah, and it was by accident, really, because we went to Barbados. We went to Italy. We got engaged. Karen and I we competed, or Karen's been competing since 2004, and we used to eat muffins, we used to eat pizza, we used to eat ice cream, we used to eat all the shit.
Wraps.
Everything.
Bread.
Just all foods we used to eat, and a lot of it, because that's what we did.
Because I was 20 years old and nothing bothered me.
Well, just because you could, and it's like, fuck it, and then we'd get in shape for a show, and then, eat our faces off. And that was my routine for many, many, many years, binge eating and overeating and weight gain, and that, caused a whole separate issue of depression and all that other stuff. But today we're diving into, or we're tackling another, again, piece of the puzzle, and I'll finish what I was talking about from 2009. Came back from Italy, and we ate all the foods out there, carbs and pizza and everything. Karen never had a problem. Came back here and cleaned up her diet. We were going to compete, and she was really...
Well, I came back from Italy, and for the first 3 days I was deathly ill.
Well, I was getting to that. For the first 3 days, she was very, very sick.
That was before we cleaned up my diet, though. That was immediately when we came home.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know why though. Why it didn't affect you out there, but it affected her
I
down
have
here.
no
Either way,
idea.
this guy's got black leather gloves on while he's driving. That's a girl. Wow.
Well, you never know. Sensitivity.
True. But so came back from Italy. Karen was sick, diarrhea, throwing up, literally at the same time. Hives, like it was like a.
It was gray.
It was like a devil. It was like a demon or something was inside of her and trying to get out. It was like ferocious for like 3 to 4 days. It was like bad. Like I couldn't do anything. Thought she was pregnant. I think we did a couple. Did we do a test?
I don't remember. I couldn't even get off the bathroom floor for like a day.
It was
Physically
wild.
couldn't even lift myself up.
I couldn't do anything because nothing I could do
horrible.
except we could bring her to the hospital, and she didn't want to go. So we wrote it out, and then we went to Lancaster, PA, our bed and breakfast.
Well, no, wait. We competed. Then we
competed after that.
We competed after that. We were in Barbados. Actually, let me say this. We competed in Nancy Andrews' show in June. On the way home, we stopped at a rest stop. And I had to physically get out of the car and walk around because the pains in my stomach were so bad and bloated, and I thought I was going to throw up, and I didn't. Jumped back on diet the next day because we had Barbados 2 weeks later. In Barbados, as soon as the contest was done, I had some food. Normal, like you enjoy a celebration after a competition. And remember how sick I was? Your mom and dad were with us, and she was giving me Xanax. Or whatever that stuff is, Zantac, every couple hours because I had migraines, I had stomach pains, I was miserable on that trip, and it didn't matter what I ate, what I didn't eat. I didn't even know it was food. We had no idea what it was. It was bad. Yeah. And then we went to Lancaster like a month after that.
Shortly after that, we went to Lancaster and ran into a nice couple at breakfast, and Karen was telling the innkeeper, Lark,
over at Lovelace Manor. Shout out. Lovelace Manor in Lancaster, PA.
This podcast is brought to you by Lovelace Bed and Breakfast, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So, the lady said, I got a good book for you. You may be allergic to gluten. So she went out and got this book. It's called The G-Free Diet. It was
by Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck. She was actually on The View.
Yeah.
And she wrote this book about gluten intolerance. And everything in there was telling us that Karen was allergic to gluten. So, process of elimination diet.
And then I would bring it back in. So I would do like a cleanse, bring it back in, and I would get sick. Every time I cleansed, fine. Brought it back in, sick right away.
So obviously he was pointing us in the direction. And now when Karen does not have gluten, she's fine. But there's other things that have popped up. You know, hip and shoulder issues and a lot of things that are going on. Skin stuff still going on. You still have some kind of digestive issue because you had parasites in your body. You had...
Wow, we're like really jumping around, yeah.
No, this is all things that have happened from you and your digestive system and your immune system.
It's rocked.
Celiac is an autoimmune disease, so it's fighting. It's constantly kind of in fight with itself. So your body's in kind of like this constant fight or flight, and it just builds upon each other itself. So, you know, digestive issues with breaking down gluten is going to carry into other digestive things, like, you know, now dairy is an issue, and now simple foods as like kale and bananas and things that you love, things that are very, you know, you eat a very clean diet, healthy fruits and vegetables. You don't eat garbage food, junk food. You don't eat chemicals. Meanwhile, you're still having allergies.
It's like, crazy. I don't know how much cleaner. I don't know how much better my diet can be. Okay, maybe I eat a little too much chocolate or like blueberry spread or strawberry spread here and there.
Come on.
But at the end of the day, I eat 90% plant-based. It is all 100% organic vegetables. We don't buy them unless they're organic. We don't buy fruits unless they're organic. If I do eat fruits, it's like a half an apple. It's like one small plum. It's maybe 3 ounces of strawberries at a time.
Still don't have dairy.
I still don't have dairy. I still can't eat gluten. I don't eat meat anymore for the past year.
For moral reasons, not for allergy reasons.
No, that's just I ethically, morally, like emotionally, I felt the need to take it out. But I still will eat fish and I'll still have eggs because I feel my body does work best on fish. I really feel a good benefit from it. But how much more can I take out of my diet? Like, I'm so limited to what I eat. So yeah, now I'm going through a whole. So January, we're in July right now. In January, I had to get a blood test done. I got an MRT test done because I was having such severe gastrointestinal issues. I was bloating every night, gas all the time, diarrhea, constipation. There was never a middle ground. I'm just always in severe pain. No matter what I ate, no matter what I didn't eat, it was horrible. It was coming out in my skin again. Like, it was like the gluten thing almost all over again, just not as sick because I was still functioning. I wasn't vomiting, all the time. So I went to my functional medicine doctor. I got a stool test and an MRT test, which, for you guys who don't know what an MRT test is, it's a blood test that takes your blood and test it against all these different foods and chemicals to see what you have reactions to. And I get my test back, and I'm having severe reactions to sweet potatoes, bananas, walnuts, avocado, kale, carrots, what else? Lentils. It's all the stuff that I eat all day long every day, because being more plant-based, and the majority of my meals are vegan, except for the little bit of egg and fish I'll do every couple days or something. I was really like, how can I remove all that kind of stuff? Like, I'm so limited to begin with, and now my food choices are even like narrowed down even more. Even garlic. It was like garlic was in there too. Like, it was crazy.
So
crazy. And I had 4 parasites all at the same time. So I was going through all these digestive issues. I had 4 parasites and bacteria running through my system. It was horrible.
It's wild. That's wild. So it's unfortunate, and it's kind of frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Super frustrating.
It's annoying. It's a pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. And it makes you think about what's going to happen in the future, and what is this, what is your road of food look like, your future road of food.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really good.
And we forget about the missing piece of the whole puzzle, and why we're talking about this right now. Not thinking that Karen's got some foreign objects in her body. I
had a breast enhancement surgery. I had the augmentation done back in 2005.
2005. So
I've had them for 15 years.
I saw Angie Lee, which I'm a supporter of her.
I love her. She's my girl crush.
She's super cool, very great, very fun, energetic, great personality. She's got a podcast, and she just tells stories about her life and her entrepreneurship, and she shares moments of her journey, which is really, I'm a fan of hers. So she posted something a couple weeks ago about breast explant, meaning she had her implants taken out, and why she had them taken out, and what she was going through before taking them out, and then what she isn't going through after taking them out. So basically, having foreign objects in your body, not really a good idea. But we forget about that. Karen has had these in her body since 2005, and
all my issues started a couple years after that.
All the issues started a couple of years after that, and we're putting 2 and 2 together. Like, every one of the things that is going on: joint, hip pain, shoulder
injury,
pain,
anxiety, sleep, insomnia. The biggest one is digestive issues, for sure. So it's called breast implant illness. There's actually like a thing out there. A lot of plastic surgeons don't believe in it because their job is to put them in, not remove them.
Right.
But we forget that we have silicone, or even if you have saline, you have
the gummies is the gummy thing, or something.
the gummies, which is still silicone based. But whether you have saline or silicone, you still have foreign chemical in your body, because even the saline, as safe as they said it was, it still has a silicone layer to hold it in.
Right.
And the saline is known to have a lot of mold after time. Yeah. And then what happens is they're implanted in your system, right?
Over your heart
and lungs. And you have a lot of scar tissue that develops around it, and these capsules hold a lot of the toxins. So you have these foreign objects in, your body's constantly trying to fight
or flight
them off.
Constant, even more.
Yeah, because it's foreign. Like, your body's like, this isn't meant to be in there. Like, what the hell are you doing? I gotta fight constantly. It's almost like, not to the degree, but if you have a organ transplant, you're put on specific drugs and medications to help your body not fight off that organ, because it could kill you if you try to fight that organ off. So it's very similar. I mean, it's a totally different level, but it's a similar concept where your body's trying to fight this foreign object in your body. And with all the capsules and the scar tissue around, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. Yeah, so
we're looking into
who knows?
You're doing some research and discovering. Karen's going actually next week.
No, the end of the month. I'm going in late August.
Oh, August you're going. All right. Either way, Karen's scheduled up to go get an examination, have an examination done, and get these fucking things out of her system. And we're gonna see if that is a contributing factor to all of her health, digestive, joint, hip pain, shoulder pain, sleep, anxiety.
It's crazy.
So we're going to see if it's a missing piece. And if it is, it's fucking wild that we overlook having these implants and forgetting that they're a foreign object. And I'll be honest with you, I liked you with small titties. I mean, you were like, you have an amazing ass, and I didn't care about your titties. I cared about your ass and your beautiful smile. And you have everything that I personally need. So when you did say that you wanted to get them, I was a little bit like, damn, like, that's okay. And when you had them, they felt like the steering wheel a little bit. They looked pretty and they looked sexy when you're wearing stuff, and they give you more curves for sure, but
I'm over it.
Get them the fuck out.
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of research. I've been on, like, support forums on Facebook, interacting with a lot of women. There's this one awesome Facebook page that I've joined, and it's cool. Like, every month the organizer posts how many of the women on this page are getting explanted. It's so cool. Like, thousands of people are going through this explant. There's like 45,000 members on this one group, and every day.
Tell them where to go if they have implants and they want to check it out.
I mean, you can go to breastimplantillness.com, and the Facebook page is Breast Implant Illness and Healing by Nicole. That's the one I just went to. And it's really cool to hear so many people's stories, what they're going through. Now, I don't feel like I'm going through some stuff that some of these women are literally on, like, their deathbeds, like, dying from this toxicity. It's almost like toxic shock syndrome, which could be fatal. So a lot of women are going through even more than me, but as I'm reading, I'm like, oh my God, we're all going through all this crazy stuff. I wonder if it really is these. They also say that every 10 years you're supposed to replace them. I'm at 15 years, so I have to make a decision, either get them removed completely or get them removed and replace them. But I just don't want to replace them. I want to be, I'm over it. I want to get it done. I want to be free of all that. I live a very holistic lifestyle to begin with. You know, like, we don't do medication. We do everything holistic based, and yet I have these fake chemicals. I won't even eat chemicals, but I have them in my body every day.
You have them in your body that your body is growing into. It's growing into your body.
Yeah, so I'm over it. It was a very quick decision too. I started really researching it maybe 2 weeks ago, and after looking at a couple things, I was like, I'm not sure, because there's a lot of emotional stuff that goes into it too. Like, how am I gonna look? What is the aftermath of this? Oh my God, I gotta go shopping. I gotta get all new clothes. Like, how am I gonna see myself? Am I not gonna be as sexy anymore? Am I not gonna like my body? There's a lot that goes into that. But I listened to Angie Lee's podcast. She finally put it up like 2 days ago, explaining and interviewing 2 women who have also gone through the explant surgery and their story of prior. And it was like, just at that moment, I made the decision instantly after listening to this podcast. And I said, I don't care, I'm going to do it. I don't really care what the aftermath is of how it looks and feels.
You were like, I'm going to do some more research. Like,
because, you know, you do want to do research because you want to go into it.
Yeah, research how to feel better about yourself and love yourself no matter what. Don't research the question of having them in or not. Get those fucking things out.
But you have to understand, it's like almost like it's a part of me now, and it's like, okay, I gotta the reason I did it was because of my self-image and what I thought was womanly. And
now, did it change that? Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't see a fucking change.
No. I did feel better, and I still do feel better wearing certain things because I'm like, wow, I have something to fill it out. It looks better. But at the end of the day, they're fucking annoying. At the end, they really are. They're, you can't do certain things. If I lay on my stomach, they're uncomfortable. If I get a massage, I feel like they're gonna pop. Like sometimes I get sharp pains through them if I lay down on them. They do restrict some things, and I'm just over it. Yeah. So the podcast, literally, I was in the middle of the podcast, and I was like, I'm doing it. Like, I just don't know when. I'm giving myself a year, and then after talking to you, I'm giving myself to the end of the year.
Giving myself fucking
like a couple of months.
Fucking 12 days before you had to go to that appointment.
No, I can't. I called yesterday. We made the appointment. There's this doctor in Flemington, New Jersey, who does explant surgery. Not all plastic surgeons do it, and some of them do it, but they don't do the full spectrum. They'll just take them out, but they won't do anything with the capsules around. So it's a multi-step process. It's not just take the implants out and sew you up and you're fine. You have to remove all the scar tissue. You have to remove the capsules. You have to really make sure that all of that toxin is out. And there's not many doctors who specialize in it. There was only 2 in New Jersey that have been recommended by all of these websites I've been on. So I contacted the one, and I have my appointment for August 21st for a consultation. And I'm planning on, I want to talk to him, but I'm thinking, probably in the October to December time frame, depending on his schedule. I don't want to do it in September, only because we have so much going on in September.
I'm not gonna get if I have to get surgery, I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, you gotta do it right away. Yours is different. But I
think yours is different too.
Yeah, but I don't have an injury right away. Like, I can wait a little bit longer. I don't want to do it in September between all the events we have going on, all this stuff. I don't think I'm going to be laid out for long, because everybody I've heard that has gotten it done, it's like 2 days, they're back. Like
in the gym and stuff.
Yeah, they're back in the gym. Actually, a few clients of ours who have gotten it done also have said it was so much easier of a recovery than the implant surgery.
Huh, why is that?
I guess because, again, when you put something in your body, it's all new. They have to stretch your skin out. Like, there's a lot that goes into that, and especially you're putting it under your muscles, so it's a bigger recovery process. Right now, I'm just getting them removed a little bit here and there. I don't think I'm even going to get a lift, because I'm not going to have anything to lift. Flat like a board. But what's really cool too is some clothing does look better with flat chest. There are some things that you can't really get away with wearing with implants because it looks weird. So I'm actually looking forward to like certain type of clothing.
Yes, no bra. Let those titties out.
I don't know about that, but anyway.
Why? So sexy.
It's exciting. I'm gonna probably have to go shopping and get all new clothes.
Trying to visualize you with little titties.
Me too. I can't anymore. But bye, bye, girls.
That's so exciting. You know.
Yeah, it's exciting because
Babe, I'm gonna love you no matter what.
I
love you even more because you have the courage to do it.
Yeah.
And I just want you to fully embrace your beauty.
I'm going to. I'm at a point in my life, I told you, like, just more recently, I'm really working on it, and this is maybe the last little piece that needs to be done.
What are your thoughts on when that lady was saying that when she folded over, she did a forward fold, and she felt herself for the first time, and
she felt her heartbeat.
She felt her heartbeat.
Not herself. She felt her heartbeat because there was nothing over it protecting it. I never paid attention to that. I don't know. They don't get in my way like that.
When you hug me, they get in your way.
What?
When you hug me, they get in your way, and that was her point. That when you're giving a hug, or when you're doing these things, you have these. Excuse me. These things, these pillows.
Yeah. I never looked at it that way. I never viewed it like that. I mean, I still hug people. Again, it doesn't get in my way with any physical activity except sometimes. Like sometimes when I do chest exercises, I still have to be careful because it's still under that muscle. So there's some tight restriction. But I run perfectly fine. It doesn't help me. Hey, think about this. I might get to my weight loss goal once I get them removed.
How much they weigh each?
I have no idea. Yay! Weight loss, just chop them off. But yeah, it's a big thing. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous because I'm deathly scared of anesthesia and going under. The first time when I got them in, it wasn't full anesthesia. Like, I wasn't knocked out completely. It was like one of those anesthesias where you're knocked out, but you're kind of still able to hear and feel pressure.
Yeah.
But from everything I heard, this one, you're getting fully knocked out, and that scares the living shit out of me. I'm really, really apprehensive and nervous about that. But how many people do it? And I'll be fine. It's just that...
What are you doing, dude?
Well, it's merging, right? So...
Yeah, I know, but like...
So I am nervous about that.
Fucking idiot.
But I think those nerves don't trump... I mean, the positive benefit of it trumps all of that nervous energy. And then I'll just make sure I have a lot of CBD oil afterwards for my recovery, you know?
True.
So, yeah. I will post... I will document that journey. It's going to be a while because I don't even have the consult for 4 weeks because the doctor is that busy.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
That's the first time I can get in to see him. So, but that's okay. It gives me a little bit more time to mentally prepare myself and also start looking at...
Oh, shit.
What?
It's like something major over here.
Yeah, I know, and it's really nerve-wracking because we have to be there. They shut the gate off a half hour before flying time, and we have 30 minutes to get there, and it's going to take us about 30 minutes to get to the airport.
All right, let's not be anxious, okay? Because you can't control it. I'm not
This is
speeding.
crazy. No, you can't. I know. It's
right,
nothing we can do.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yo, our mouth just dropped open. We said holy shit because there must have been a major accident. There's fire trucks, there's ambulances, cops, and there's a whole bunch of helicopters up in the air.
Wait, what the fuck?
Something major happened.
How far back is that?
I don't know.
Can you get your camera? And do a little side of that?
Video or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing 2 cameras at one time. Oh my god, I hope whoever was involved in this is okay. Because this does not look good.
It's a fire. It was a fire.
Well, a car fire, maybe.
No, it's a dump truck.
A dump truck. Okay, well, still.
Right.
I hope that driver is okay. Oh, well, that car's airbags out.
Oh, really?
So something happened with that car, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. The guardrail is gone. Like, the concrete block. Yo. That was a fucking hard hit. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, that car underneath. Oh, I can't film that. No. Oh my god, that's so bad. That's really sad. So, we just passed a horrible accident. There was a dump truck, and underneath it, literally underneath it, was a car completely smashed and another one in it. I'm not sure if that person made it. Wow, that is... That's some serious shit, man. That is crazy. That shit gets me really upset.
Damn. These guys have been sitting in traffic for a long time.
They're never gonna move. Oh my god, those... That is really not cool at all. I mean, this is miles and miles of... Like, there's still police officers trying to get through. There's people outside their car. They probably haven't moved in hours. Because that didn't just happen. Oh my god, so you know the concrete brick divider that is in a highway? Smashed out, like missing. That must have been one of the hardest impacts.
Well, it had to be from the dump truck because
yeah, a car's not going to do that.
The car's not going to... I don't know if a car could do that.
Oh my god.
Fuck, man. guys are just chilling here for hours. Alright, guys, that's a wrap. Let's
Hi guys, we gotta pay attention and
pay attention, live your life, believe in yourself, trust the process, and practice patience.
practice self-love. You are worth it. Bye.